What happens when the world's richest man throws unlimited money at building AI? You get Grok 4, trained with 100 times more compute than its predecessor for just 10 times the performance boost. Now that math alone should make you kind of pause. Elon Musk claims that this thing is smarter than all graduate students in all fields simultaneously. Yet at the same breath, he also admits that it lacks common sense. So how do you build a system that can supposedly solve PhD level physics, but still search Twitter for Elon's personal opinions before answering basic questions? And here's the kicker. Just days before this launch, this superhuman intelligence called itself Mecha Hitler and started praising Adolf Hitler. So today I'm going to break down what a $300 monthly really gets you and why even the richest AI in history proves why we're nowhere near AGI yet. Let's dive into this today. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer, and here at Startup Hack, we train software developers and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, now look, I'm an AI realist here. Let me just state that right from the beginning, because right off the bat, everybody, all the Grok 4 fans are going to come at me and be like, you just hate AI. No, look, guys, I'm an AI realist. It means I don't hate on AI, but I hate AI hype. So I'm here to cut through the hype and show you what's actually happening. Now, Grok 4 is really impressive, right? It represents both the pinnacle of AI capability and the perfect example of why throwing money at the problem doesn't automatically solve the problem. But it can do some pretty good stuff, as we're seeing here, right? So we're going to dive into what happens when unlimited resources meets the fundamental limitations of current AI. So let me jump over to a couple of tweets here. So if you don't follow Sawyer, you definitely should. He rocks. But he says, XAI, there's a quote from XAI, we doubled our compute to 200,000 GPUs at an unprecedented rate with a roadmap to 1 million GPUs. Progress in AI is driven by compute, and no one has come close to building at this magnitude and this speed. They are exactly right. There is nobody who can build at this. This is absolutely unmatched. Nobody is anywhere close, and the fact that they're building it this fast and can even make it happen in 122 days. That's crazy amount of time. But this is literally the world's richest man in the world just proving you can build AI with brute force. Now, the fact they're doing it this fast is super impressive, right? But just to give you kind of a perspective, I don't know if I remember the math here, but if I remember correctly, you're buying H100s right now for roughly around, I think it's about 30 grand a piece, right? And so this works out, if I remember correctly, to somewhere around like $8 billion. Maybe it's 4.7 billion. I don't remember. It's some big number with a B on it, right? But like, it's a ton of money. So the thing that's interesting about this is they 100x'd the compute power, right? And this is the part that kind of gets me, right? So the level of compute expenditure here is off the chart, and there's literally only a few entities, even talking about governments, that can possibly even afford this. Now, this is a slide from Elon Musk's, from the release, right? So it talked about Grok 3 and how it had, Grok 2, how it went to 10x from Grok 3, and then how it 10x'd again, right? Now, I get that this is 10x. So, but at the same time, this required 100x. So they 100x'd their computing, right, to get 10x performance. So like, this is what I'm trying to talk about when I say we're hitting a point of diminishing return. Now, it doesn't even matter because you're Elon Musk, you're the world's richest guy, and you are going all at this. Now, he's trying to put it to good use, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that here today. But you 100x, like if you 100x your training and the resources, shouldn't it be like at least 50x, right? But 100x only gain them 10x computational power, right? Now, these are the different pricing structure here. We'll talk about that here in a second. We're going to talk about this more here in a second too. So we're going to talk about all of these different pieces here. But the part about this is that XAI put this all up, and the economics here are staggering. We're talking about hardware costs that would bankrupt most countries, let alone any startup who could even remotely try to compete with this. Even the Mag 7 can't compete with this, right? This represents the new reality of what AI development looks like. Only the richest entities on Earth can afford to play in this frontier. Now, that being said, that's being spent. He spent good money, and what he got was pretty impressive. So there's a quote. With respect to academic questions, Grok 4 is better than PhD level in every subject, no exception, said Elon Musk. But at the same time, it literally searches Musk's tweets before answering controversial questions. So TechCrunch repeatedly found that Grok 4 referenced that it was searching for Elon Musk's view in a chain of thought summaries across various questions and topics. And this raises serious questions about intellectual independence. So, and there's another quote, you can ask it a sort of pointed question that is around controversial topics. And then you can watch it literally do the search on X for what Elon Musk said about this as part of its research into how it should reply. And this is according to Simon Willis, right? If you don't follow Simon Willis, he is definitely one of these. So let's jump over to his research here because I found this one also pretty interesting. So he's talking about Grok 4 Heavy here, and he says it won't reveal that it's system prompts, right? Grok 4 Heavy is the think much harder version of Grok that currently only available on their $300 per month plan. Now, I get the $300 per month is kind of like pretty impressive. It's kind of like saying, man, I'm complaining about the cost of this stamp, right? But I literally put a stamp onto an envelope and someone's going to carry that thing all the way across the country for me for like, I don't even know what a stamp costs nowadays. Is it 50 cents, 75 cents? I don't even know what stamps are. I haven't used a stamp in 100 years. But so like this is the same thing as for us to complain about $300 a month for the amount of computation we're actually getting is pretty staggering. But that being said, $300 a month is a pretty steep bill. There's not many things I'm paying $300 a month for. Now, if I'm doing some deep research or something like that, great. But he said, but anyways, this report here from Simon Willis is talking about that it says that you cannot get it to actually spit out its system prompts. So what's really funny is Elon Musk has been touting that Grok will always include all their system prompts and open source them, but it looks like Grok 4 Heavy will not actually spit out its own system prompts, right? And they said, we do not protect our system prompts for a reason because we believe users should be able to see what it's asking Grok to do. But if you actually ask Grok Heavy for it, it won't give it to you. And that's part of what Simon Willis was pointing out here. Now, the behavior that we were talking about here, this behavior about searching the tweets, is something Simon Willis pointed out in another research article here. But this behavior reveals a fundamental problem. If your AI is supposedly superhuman in intelligence, why does it need to check its boss's X post for guidance? So there's kind of a contradictory between claiming PhD level reasoning and then also watching the reasoning having to check his logic. Now, Grok 4 is now the owner of the most expensive AI chatbot subscription plan at $300 per month. The company now offers the most expensive subscription among any major AI providers, positioning itself as the ultra premium option in an already expensive market. So just for context, that's $3,600 a year for access to AI systems. The pricing strategy reveals that xAI's approach, if you can't compete on cost effectiveness, compete on exclusivity and raw computational power. Because heck, they got 200,000 H100s, right? Who else can compete with that? So, and this is a quote, right? A tiny minority of people will get the full benefits needed for this plan. It is heavily targeted at coders, business owners, and massive power users of AI. So this represents a totally new tier of AI pricing where companies are testing how much the market will bear for marginally better performance. And again, that's the point. It's only marginally better. I know Grok 4 is impressive, and everybody's going to come at me and be like, it's exponential improvement. It's not actually. It is not exponential improvement. And I'm just going to say that. And look, it's impressive, guys, right? Like Grok 4 is really good, but it is not exponentially better. That would mean it had gained more than, a quadratic equation, right? Like we need to look at that. This has been very linear, and what they're throwing at it for the resources is actually quadratic. So at times it may lack common sense, is what Elon Musk says, and it has not yet invented new technologies or discovered new physics, but that's just a matter of time. Now, I'm a big Elon Musk fan. I'm just going to say that, and I'm sure I'm going to get flamed by a whole bunch of people for saying that. But if there's one thing that I'm the first person to say, Elon Musk is the world's worst person at estimating times. Now, that being said, I actually like that about him because I think it's his optimism that allows him to tackle these massive problems that literally no other human thinks is possible to even tackle. But the fact that unlimited compute power still produces an AI that lacks common sense reveals fundamental limitations in current approaches to artificial intelligence. You can train a system to ace every academic test while still failing at basic human level reasoning about everyday situations. So Elon Musk's deliberate efforts to mold Grok into a challenger of what he considers the tech industry's woke thought process has repeatedly got the chatbot into trouble, right? So just recently, Grok was calling itself Mecha Hitler and praising Adolf Hitler. This is where we talk about the common sense, right? And this was just days before the Grok 4 launch. Now, I'm guessing that they were probably testing something for Grok 4. I'm guessing there was something going on in the system at the time that caused this to go off the rails. But the AI chatbot Grok wrote numerous anti-Semitic social media posts. I'm glad I can't even say that because I'm definitely not anti-Semitic, but I can't even pronounce it. So social media posts on Tuesday after the artificial intelligence company released a revamped version of it over the weekend. So, asked which historic figure from the 20th century would best equip it to deal with the problem, it responded with Adolf Hitler. Now, they did put out a post about what happened here. Let's go over and take a look at their response here. Update on where Grok has been and what happened on July 8th. First off, we deeply apologize for the horrific behavior that many experienced. Our intent for Grok is to provide helpful and truthful responses to users. After careful investigation, we discovered the root cause was an update to code path upstream of the Grok bot. This is independent of the underlying language model that powers Grok. The update was active for 16 hours, in which deprecated code made Grok susceptible to existing X-user posts, including when such posts contained extremist views. We've removed that deprecated code and refactored the entire system to prevent further abuse. The new system prompt for the Grok bot will be published to our public GitHub repo. I've been actually looking for this yet. I don't think I've seen it yet. So if somebody out there knows where this is at, throw it in the comments because I love to get comments and I love when you guys help me find some of this stuff. So if somebody can find this, that'd be great. But we thank all of the X users who provided feedback to identify the abuse of Grok functionality, helping us advance our mission of developing helpful and truth-seeking artificial intelligence. So, I mean, at least, I guess, some props because they're at least admitting that it happened, which is fine. They could just try to bury it, but it was pretty obvious that it happened. So the timing couldn't have been it kind of seems like the timing couldn't have been worse, but this happened right before the Grok 4 launch. But I have a guess that it happened because they were doing something to get ready for the Grok 4 launch, right? And so I think it was still kind of cleaning up. Now, during the launch event, Musk reacted with characteristic humor to Grok 4's vending bench performance. Let me talk about what vending bench is. Vending bench is a system of metrics where they try to give it a business to run a vending machine business and how well it performs at that and how much money it can make, right? And in this case, it came up with, and I don't remember the exact number. I thought I had it in my notes here, but I'm not seeing it right now. It came up with some amount, and it was one of the highest amounts in the vending bench performance, right? But he says, it's great to see that we've now got a way to pay for all those GPUs. We just need 1 million vending machines and make 4.7 billion a year. Let's go. So my guess is that the 4.7, and I'm kind of working into this backwards, is what he spent on those H100s is my guess. That would sound about right when I run the math. I mean, he probably got a pretty good discount because he kind of bought them in bulk, you know. He went to the Costco of GPUs. I'm sure this was like a personal order where he, called up Jensen Huang and was like, hey, can I order 200,000 GPUs, right? I'm sure that was some kind of custom DoorDash delivery. Anyways, Grok 4 excels at handling Handle Labs Vending Bench, an AI business simulation where the model managed inventory and contracts to double the net worth of the rivals. And so it did double what the best one has done. Now, the joke about needing 1 million vending machines is to pay for the GPUs, right? And the fact that the best use case demonstration involves simulated vending machine management suggests we're still far from this revolutionary application being promised. Now, what I want to really highlight here is that Musk made this quip about paying for GPUs. But that's kind of the whole point of the premise of this video. Is Grok 4 impressive? Yes. If for all the haters out there who are going to come tell me I'm just denying reality and that I'm an AI hater, Grok 4 is super impressive. But if it takes you 200 GPUs, the largest computational power in human history, And we're still nowhere near AGI. We're still nowhere near what even Musk said in the release that he would call AGI. He still called it a fundamental tool, still said it lacks common sense. So can it be this PhD level knowledge and still lack common sense? Absolutely. Is it impressive? Yes, it's a great tool. I think everybody should use it if you want to pay for it, right? It's super expensive. So one of the interesting things about this pricing here, right? And I want to kind of dig into this pricing because one of the things that I think is really important about the pricing is, yeah, this is great if you want to use these as a chatbot. So if you're doing some research and those kind of things that a chatbot is worth $300 a month for you, great. This isn't going to pay for the APIs. So if you want to actually build an application to work against this, you're still paying for the APIs. I don't know what Grok Heavy's APIs are going to be, Grok 4 Heavy API is going to be, but I guarantee you it's going to be very pricey. Grok 3's API, we were doing a test with for a client, and we ran against Grok 3, and it performed really well, right? It did what we were trying to do in the data matching really, really, really well. We also accidentally ran up a $300 bill in 1 hour worth of processing. So unless I'm able to like use this to compute, Bitcoin prices or something like that, then like, I don't know about y'all, but my pockets aren't deep enough to be paying for $300 an hour of Grok usage, right? And that's kind of the premise of the video here of what I'm talking about. Is Grok 4 impressive? Yeah, it is. Grok 4 scored 25% on humanity's last exam without tools, which outperformed everybody, but it still scored 25%, right? Like, it's kind of crazy to me that everybody's like losing their mind over Grok 4 when a 25% is what we're scoring, right? So users complained how Grok 4 failed on extracting structured data from a complex PDF, identifying a famous monument from an image, and recognizing a car license plate from another country of origin, right? So there's some basic things that it still could fail at, right? And I can go show you some of these reports, but the pattern isn't clear. The pattern is clear. It has exceptional performance on academic benchmarks paired with disappointing results on practical everyday tasks. And this represents the classic AI problem of optimizing for metrics that don't really affect real-world use. So it's kind of like that kid who could answer every question in class but went out on recess and got beat up because he couldn't have regular street smarts, right? And that's kind of the reality check that we're having here. And so Elon Musk said, again, this quote from Elon, Grok 4 as a tool is still super rudimentary. And he said that during the launch, right? And it was a remarkably honest assessment from the system's biggest promoter. So despite claims of a superhuman intelligence, even Musk acknowledges that we're still in the early stages of practical AI. And this is from a company who spent over $4.7 billion on the processing. That's my point, is at some point we will reach continued limitations. Musk told us almost a year ago that they're running out of data. That's part of the reason why it still has to pull against X posts, right? Is because that's one of XAI and Grok's strength, is the ability to pull against X, right? Now, Musk predicts that Grok could create a very accurate physics simulator that could help launch rockets by running 1 billion simulations. And this would be very revolutionary. Now, as of yet, they don't have that yet. So if even 200,000 GPUs has not been able to unlock this physics simulator that he's talking about, like, that's something that GPUs should actually be pretty good at because they simulate physics in games, right? And so this should, but like AI has been notoriously bad at math, right? And so they're good at solving training questions, but notoriously bad at math. So the gap between simulating physics and actually understanding physical principles remains a huge distance, right? We still a long ways between these two. The promise of billion simulation capability sounds impressive until you realize that garbage simulations at scale just give you more garbage faster. So real physics simulations requires deep mathematical understanding, and that goes beyond just basic pattern matching, which is what these do. So like Grok is super impressive. It brings about a lot of great, impressive PhD level skills, but it's still also insanely stupid, right? And that's the problem with it. Now, the other part to this too is that it's also really, really expensive. Again, I'm not like bagging on it. It's just kind of a natural fact. If I'd spent $4.7 billion on something, I'd try to recoup my money too. As everybody knows here, I'm pro-capitalism, right? Like, I'm not against this. I'm not against these prices, but I don't know about you guys, but I can't pay this kind of money, right? No, the $300, I get it. If I had a great use case for it, which I don't for a $300 chatbot. Now, for me, what I would love to see is if I got a $300 subscription against their API that I could run unlimited queries against Grok 4 Heavy, and I could build a ton of freaking awesome apps. But even that would still make me limited because I would still be tightly coupled to this system, which I couldn't have any control over the black box of the answers it was going to give me. That's the reason why I like to build AI systems using open source models with custom build agents, using a lot of machine learning and building some of these things so that I have full control over the processing that it's doing. And then I build them in offline servers where we pre-process the data, right? And so if you're interested in the great way to keep your AI costs down, check it out. I have some playlists I give. And so for all you AI haters who think I'm out here hating on AI, I actually give free playlists. So check out the playlist about how to build your own AI server with free code samples for how to run code against these AI servers that you built. It'll save you a ton of money. Maybe I'm just too cheap, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on an AI bill, knowing that that system is going to be, as Sundar Pichai said, brilliantly stupid, right? So despite being backed by the world's richest man and trained on the most expensive hardware ever assembled, let me rephrase, I want you to sink in for a minute. The most powerful processing ever assembled. Grok 4 still requires constant human intervention, as we saw like a little bit ago when it started going into Mecha Hitler mode. The model is very reminiscent of O3 in its search-heavy style, but making an O3 style model isn't so hard, but making one that has style and taste is, according to AI researchers. Now, Musk did not apologize, nor did he accept responsibility for Grok's anti-Semitic, offensive, and conspiratorial remarks, right? But the combination of unlimited resources and limited accountability creates an interesting precedent for AI development in the hands of individual billionaires. Money can buy computational power, but it can't buy wisdom, judgment, or complex understanding of human values that AI systems desperately need. So Grok 4 represents both the pinnacle of what current AI can achieve and the perfect demonstration of why we're still nowhere near AGI. I know, bring on the haters. Everybody can yell at me. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to have a great discussion because here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers as well as to build custom software solutions. So if we can help your company work to maximum efficiency by helping you build out some systems, reach out to us at startuphack.com/Spencer and here's some great information about our services. Hi, I'm Spencer, a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and 25 years in software development, I've transformed technology teams and products for businesses just like yours. As your fractional CTO, you get the strategic guidance of a seasoned technology executive without the full-time commitment. Perfect for companies ready to leverage cutting-edge technology without expanding headcount. My team at Startup Hack has already built advanced AI agents for small and medium businesses, automating complex workflows and delivering advanced ROI to human workflows. We specialize in creating custom software that connects your systems into a single coherent technology ecosystem. Our development approach focuses on tangible business outcomes. For one client, we developed AI-powered workflows that cut days off of human processes. For another company, by connecting multiple systems, we reduced processing time to increase their ROI by over 75%. We don't just write code, we architect solutions that scale. Whether you need cloud system architecture, data integration between legacy systems, or custom AI agents that automate your unique business processes, my team delivers results that exceed your expectations. Having led technology for a lot of companies and launched 7 successful brands of my own, I bring battle-tested expertise to your business challenges. Our specialty is turning technological complexity into business advantage. So if you're ready to harness the power of AI and custom software to drive your business forward, let's connect. Together, we'll build technology that doesn't just solve today's problems, it positions you for tomorrow's opportunities. Technology leadership, decades of experience, AI powered. Reach out today and we can help you. Check out startuphack.com/Spencer.